So last year, I did this explainer on passive income ideas, and it kind of blew up. And I think I know why. At the time, those ideas were making, well, a pretty crazy amount of money.
Yep, $27,000 a week. And as you can imagine, that number pretty much broke my inbox. I was hit with a total tidal wave of questions from you guys.
But the question I heard over and over again was this one. People wanted more ideas, sure, but they wanted practical side hustles that they could get going on right now, this year. So that's what this is. This is the answer. Okay, let's get into it.
Now, to keep things super clear, we're going to put every single one of these hustles through the exact same 3-point test. First, how easy is it really to get started? Second, how hard is it to make that first $100? And third, and this is a big one, how much of your time is it going to eat up just to keep it going? That way you can actually compare apples to apples and figure out which one makes sense for you. All right, we're kicking things off in a space that is absolutely booming right now, the creator economy. These first couple of hustles are all about helping build and support all that content that we all love to watch and read.
Hustle number 1, video editor. And hey, before you say you can't do this, listen. You can seriously teach yourself the basics on free software like DaVinci Resolve in a single weekend. The real secret here is getting your first client. And the trick is to become what I call a permissionless apprentice. Don't just send a resume. Find a YouTuber you like, grab one of their videos, re-edit it to show off your skills, and just send it to them. Offer to do the first one for free to get your foot in the door. And boom, you're in a great spot to start charging. So how does it stack up? Well, it's about a 3 out of 5 for ease to start. Pretty manageable. Getting that first $100 is a little tougher, a 2. But look at that last number. Time intensive is a 5 out of 5. That's crucial. It means this is a service where you are literally trading your time for money. Your income is directly tied to the hours you put in. Definitely something to keep in mind. Next up, writing for creators. And you know what? That same permissionless apprentice strategy works perfectly here too. Find a YouTuber, take one of their videos, rewrite it as a great blog post or newsletter, and just pitch it to them. The thing to remember is that businesses don't want some fancy college essay. They want clear, simple writing that gets people to click or buy. You can show them you can do that from day 1. Okay, on the scorecard, writing is a little harder to start, a 2 out of 5, mostly because you have to prove you can actually write. Making the first $100 is also a 2, and it's still pretty time intensive, a solid 4. But here's the difference. Unlike video editing with its long render times, you can get a lot faster at writing, which means you can handle more clients in the same amount of time. All right, hustle number 3 in the creator world is a paid email newsletter. And this is where things get really interesting because we're shifting from a one-on-one service to creating a product. If you can gather up really valuable info on a specific niche topic, people will absolutely pay for it. And that means recurring income, money that comes in every single month. That is a game changer. Plus, platforms like Substack make it super easy to get started. So looking at the numbers, it scores a 2 for getting started and a 2 for making that first $100. Why? Because it just takes time to build an audience that trusts you enough to actually pay. But check out the time intensity. It's down to a 3. You still have to do the work, of course, but you're not trading hours for dollars anymore. And that idea of building a product is the perfect bridge into our next category, hustles for digital businesses. This is all about providing services that companies desperately need to grow online. Number 4 is website design. And no, you do not need to be a coding wizard these days. Tools like Squarespace have made this so much easier for everyone. The absolute number 1 key here, like this quote says, is to specialize. Pick a niche. Don't be a web designer. Be the web designer for orthodontists. That's how you become the go-to person and build a really profitable business. So this one scores a 3 on ease of starting thanks to all those great tools. Getting that first client is still a 2. And yeah, it is time intensive at the beginning, a 4. But here's the cool thing about that score. It can actually go down over time because once you have your templates and your process locked in, you can build sites way more efficiently. Okay, next up, social media consultant. And here's a little secret. If you're under 30, you probably have this deep intuitive understanding of social media that a lot of business owners just don't. You can use that. The path is simple. Start by giving away some amazing advice for free to build trust. And then you just flip that into a monthly retainer where you do it all for them.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. Ease to start is a 2, first $100 is a 2. But look at that time intensity score. It's only a 2. Why so low? Well, because with tools like Canva for graphics and Buffer for scheduling, you can manage a bunch of clients really efficiently without losing your mind. This one is super scalable.
Okay, this next one might just be a hidden gem. Becoming a Notion consultant.
Notion is this amazing productivity app that businesses are using to run their whole operation. And here's the best part. You can get really good at it in about a week. Seriously. And then you can start charging companies to come in and organize their entire workflow. And whoa, just look at this scorecard. It says it all. A 1 for ease to start and a 1 for making your first $100. That is the lowest barrier to entry of any hustle we've talked about. And the time commitment? It's flexible. You can do a little or a lot. This is a massive opportunity that's just sitting there right now.
All right, for our final category, we're going to look at a hustle that literally every single person watching this already has the main ingredient for: sharing what you know. And that brings us to online tutoring. It's a classic for a very good reason. Whatever you're good at, math, Spanish, playing the guitar, I promise you there is someone out there who wants to learn it from you. And like this little story shows, you just never know where it can take you. I mean, it can open doors to some pretty incredible experiences. The scorecard here is pretty straightforward. It's a 2 for ease of starting and a 2 for getting that first $100. But just like video editing, that time intensity is maxed out at a 5. Your income is 1-to-1 with the hours you're actively teaching. It's great, rewarding work, but it's not scalable like some of the other hustles are. And that brings us to the end of our list. So we've gone through 7 pretty different ideas, right? From something creative like editing videos to something super organized like being a Notion consultant. But you know what? They're not as different as they look. So what's the one simple idea that ties all of them together?
So here it is, the whole shebang, all 7 hustles, side by side. You can see the trade-offs so clearly here. Some are easy to start, but they're going to take up all your time, like tutoring. Others, like becoming a Notion consultant, have an almost ridiculously low barrier to entry. And something like social media consultant hits that sweet spot of scalability and demand.
The thing that ties it all together, it's actually way simpler than you might think. It's what I call the value formula. It's just 3 steps. 1, learn a skill. 2, use that skill to provide real value to people. And 3, find the people who are willing to pay for that value. That's it. That's the whole game. Every single hustle we talked about is just a different flavor of that one simple formula.
So really, there's only one question left, and it's the one right there on your screen. The question isn't which hustle is the best one, it's about which skill you're going to commit to. Which one will you learn first,